debate on BBC. Today we have with us politician Chris Grayling from the right-wing party and David Lammy from the centre-left, who are going to talk about a report made by Mr. Lammy about how to assess the seriousness of a crime. Mr. Lammy, would you like to start and introduce the topic?
Thank you. Now, how many of you have ever been a victim of property crime or know someone who has? Sadly, the numbers are growing, and it's not very unlikely that you have been or known someone who has been a victim of this hideous crime. And the reason behind these rising numbers is that it has been decriminalized. Police are not taking property thefts involving small numbers seriously, but for the low-income family that is struggling to survive, the small number might be crucial for them. Therefore, I believe that crime should be assessed on their impact. However, I'm not surprised that Mr. Grayling here would not agree with this, seeing as the right never really cares for the low-income groups in the UK.
I am deeply offended, Mr. Lammy. The right-wing party most definitely cares about all their citizens of the UK. And this is why I'm here. This suggestion would negatively affect every single person in the UK. And don't you care about all citizens and not just low-income earners?
I feel like this debate is going off topic. Please, Mr. Grayling, why do you think that Mr. Lammy's way of thinking is problematic?
The problem with assessing crimes on their impact is that it's extremely ethical, which also would make it extremely subjective.
First of all, it would be incorrect of you to assume that my suggestion is only ethical, which means that your second statement would also be incorrect. Second of all, yes, humans are biased by nature and will most likely judged based on their own experiences. This would mean that, for example, a high-income earner will most likely not think that £200 is a lot and will therefore think that the offender should not get a very serious punishment. Mr. Grayling, you're not looking at this very objectively.
But what you're suggesting, Mr. Lammy, is that we should discard the monetary value of something in a courtroom, which is supposed to be impartial and objective, and bring in moral and ethical values where it does not belong, as it is highly subjective, it would make the entire legal system inconsistent, and also would be impossible to ever have a fair trial ever again.
Yes, I have to agree that to some extent, assessing crimes based on impact may be slightly subjective. However, so is any other way of assessing. So the citizens would have to choose between a highly subjective method versus a less subjective method. And I believe that our people will make the right choice.
Now, Mr. Lammy, that is a very binary way of thinking. What I'm suggesting is not to choose between a slightly versus highly subjective method, but rather to combine both to create a system that will benefit everyone in society. Because as politicians, we need to take care of everyone in society, and this suggestion is proving that you may not be right for this job.
But seeing as we haven't tried out this way of assessing crimes, you do not have any evidence for that it won't work, and this means that it will most likely work.
Thanks to the both of you. Next up, should women be allowed to drive? UKIP says no.